It's time for this week's View from the Sideline. Here's Bryan Burchfield.
It's time for this week's View from the Sideline. I've got two Wildcat football players joining me this week. First, we're going to talk to Meechie Oggs, and then the second half of View from the Sideline, we're going to talk to Gavin Boruff. So first up, Meechie, how you doing?
Doing good.
Meechie is senior defensive end and tight end for the Sweetwater Wildcats. Meechie, you had a very good game. We selected you our Dominos Player of the game, the Brainerd game last week. How do you think you done that game?
Well, I'd say I did pretty good, or I wouldn't be here. And
that's a good point.
I think I made a few good plays.
Why do you think you was able to play so well? Was you feeling good? Did you have Brainerd's number last week?
I think just coming into this game, Coach Martin just coached us up real good, and he went over all the plays that they would run, and I just think we went over it very well.
One of the big plays you had was a pick six. You returned it 42 yards for the touchdown. If you could walk us through that play and tell us what was going through your mind and why you were able to be in the right place at the right time.
Well, actually, thanks to my friend Gavin, we have these checks, and he checked it, and it put me right in the right position, and I read the quarterback's eyes, and he faked the handoff, and when he did that, I saw him turn back, and I saw the running back behind me, and I just jumped in front of it.
So what went through your mind when the ball hit you in the hand, you picked it off, and there was nothing but green in front of you?
I was just praying no one hawked me down from the back.
Don't trip and fall, right? Now, along with the pick six, you had several sacks, several tackles on defense, and then on offense, you had some big receptions. You had 70 yards receiving on offense. Now, which side of the ball was you having the most fun Friday night?
I like both, but if I had to choose, I'd say defense. I like getting in the backfield.
Now, coming into this season, what did you do to improve your game defensively?
Coach, he just, in the off season, he had us do a lot of extra work that we didn't do last year, and I think it made us, and myself, very prepared for the season. He had us run a lot more, so a lot of us can go both ways. We got a lot of people that go both ways, me one of them, and I just think that he had us in the best.
Are you doing anything exercise-wise, workout-wise, to have more stamina to play both ways?
Every day after football, after practice, Coach he has us all lined up, the whole team. We all run sprints till we basically can't breathe anymore. We all have a workout 3 days a week.
Good. Now, you mentioned Coach Martin, now the defensive coordinator this season. I've had a couple guys so far this year on View from the Sideline mention that and how prepared they felt. Now, you mentioned you felt prepared for Brainerd. Talk about Coach Martin as the defensive coordinator and getting you guys prepared each week.
Well, he's a great guy, and he's an even better coach, and I just think he has us in the best interest, and he tells us every Friday, I know I got my calls, but all I need from you is to go out there and play your best, and he puts all his faith in us, and we just put our faith back in him.
Meechie Oggs, our guest on this week's View from the Sideline. Gavin Boruff coming up in a few minutes. How much easier does it make it to play the game when you go into that game feeling prepared, that you know what's going to happen?
Well, I think our staff does the best they can to prepare us and get us ready for what the team's about to throw at us, and I just think that they have us in the best interest, and I think that we have the best staff around.
Now, Meechie, senior season. What does that mean to you, that your last year playing Wildcat football? Have you reflected on that, or is it more you think that'll come as the season gets toward the end?
It means a lot. I think about it every Friday before the game, and it means more about me to my uncle that he's gone now, and I try to go out there every Friday, represent him, and bring that back in the game of Sweetwater football as much as I can.
Of course, you're wearing Anthony's number again this season, number 42, and so that's a good tribute to him. What does it mean to you to be a Sweetwater Wildcat? Expand on that a little bit. What's it mean to you to wear that blue and gold on Fridays?
Well, it's more than just the Fridays. It means we got to represent even when we're not at the school, or even when we're not in Sweetwater when we go places. Even if we have the jersey on or not, we got to represent. We can't trash Sweetwater. We have to be a good representative of the city.
So, Meechie, tonight a big one. Sequoyah comes in here to King Barong Stadium. The Sequoyah game, big every year, regardless of records, regardless if it's a region game or not. Talk about the preparation again for tonight. Do you feel ready to play the Sequoyah Chiefs?
I feel very ready. I think that our coaches have ran us through as much as they can. I think they've prepared us, over-prepared us as much as they could, and I just can't wait to be on the field.
What does the Sequoyah game mean to you and this 2017 Wildcat football team?
Well, to us, it means a lot. It means everything. You don't lose to Sequoyah no matter what happens, and that's just every year. No matter who it is, you just don't lose.
Meechie, thank you for your time and good luck tonight against Sequoyah.
Thank you, too.
That was senior Meechie Oggs, our guest on this week's View from the Sideline. We're going to take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll have Gavin Boruff with us. Stay tuned.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Tennessee did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
This message presented by the Tennessee Secondary School Athletic Association and the Tennessee Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Back here on this week's View from the Sideline, we had Meechie Oggs earlier. Now joining us, senior linebacker and receiver Gavin Boruff. Gavin, how you doing?
Doing well.
I appreciate you coming and spending a few minutes with us here on this week's View from the Sideline. Like Meechie, you had a great game, especially defensively at Brainerd last week. We had you with a forced fumble and 2 fumble recoveries with numerous tackles. Talk about that game. It's probably the best game I've seen you play. What was it about that game that you were able to play so well?
The offense that they run, they really they would bring the ball to me. I wouldn't have to do that much. Mm-hmm. So they would double team our linemen, and then they would run straight to me. So that helped a lot. And plus, with our line, they take on the blocks for me. So I should credit most of my tackles to them because they take on the big boys, so I can get the running back.
So the flow of the game kind of came to you, and you were in position, right? So talk about the forced fumble. Do you remember that play?
I do.
Tell us about the forced fumble that you had.
They handed the running back the ball, and he ran straight through an open hole because of the way they blocked. And so I ran up there and hit him, and the ball just popped out, and one of our other linebackers jumped on it.
That was a great play in the game. Also, as I said, you had 2 fumble recoveries. Do you remember the 2 plays that happened on?
One of them we were on just defense, and they were in the middle of a tackle, and the ball just kind of popped out, so I jumped on it, and they tried to get in the pile and take it away from me, but I wasn't letting go.
So some big turnovers you were in that game, and turnovers were a very big part of that game in the 21-8 win over Brainerd. Gavin Boruff, senior Wildcat, our guest on this week's View from the Sideline. Now, playing very well at linebacker. You didn't play linebacker last year. You moved from the secondary now to linebacker. Talk about that move and kind of the different mindset you have to play.
Well, in your secondary, your main focus is not getting beat deep or something like that, or defending the pass. But as a linebacker, you have to stop the run almost every play. That's your main focus. Your defending the pass is your secondary kind of focus, but getting the running back and that kind of stuff is your primary focus. Mm-hmm. So that's how it changes. You have to get up there and be tougher and be more of a man to stop them. So
secondary, it's more backpedaling. Linebacker, it's more running downhill, right?
Yes, sir.
Which do you like better?
I like linebacker much better.
Just because you're taking the attack to them, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
So we mentioned, too, not only do you play defense, but you're starting to get a little more expanded role offensively. Just tell us about what you do on the offensive side of the ball.
Mostly, Coach E puts me out on the outside, and I run specific routes. That way the inside receiver can be open or free, or I block. But actually one time at Brainerd, they let me run a speed out, and I caught it, and was so excited I actually got the ball that I almost fell down. And but I'm just glad that I finally got my first reception.
Now, that play, you said you were very excited, kind of caught off guard that you got the ball. So was the play not designed for you, and it's kind of a check to you? What happened there?
The coachee brings a call in via hand signals, and it shows up on my wristband what I have to do. And so I just read what was on my wristband, and I ran the route, and I was open, and Riley threw it to me.
Gavin Boruff, our guest on this week's View from the Sideline. Gavin, senior season. Tell us what it's meant to you to be a Wildcat. This is your final year. Talk about it.
It means a lot to me because it gives me a lot more authority than I would have had. It shows me that I have to be a leader this year and show the younger guys what they need to be doing. And sometimes that's hard and sometimes it's easier. I like to be the leader. I like to tell everybody what they need to be doing and how they need to be doing it.
What was your goals coming into your senior season? Did you have any for yourself?
Winning certain awards, and that could be a goal, but I just want to make my family proud and this town proud of what I'm doing and what we're doing as a team. That's my main goal.
Well, I think you're accomplishing that, to say the least. Sequoyah tonight. That's and you smile when I say that. That's always an exciting game, ain't it, Sequoyah?
Yes. It's just a big rivalry. It's been our rivalry ever since I was born. I've grown up not liking Sequoyah. That red and gold is ugly. So we just got to beat them.
Do you feel prepared? Do you think the team's prepared here at home to get the win?
Coach Martin spends hours and hours looking at what plays they run and what formations, what specific plays they run out of those formations. So he's got us lined up specifically for those, so I believe we'll be right in the place we need to be.
Gavin Boroff, thank you. Good luck tonight against Sequoyah.
Thank you.
You've been listening to View from the Sideline. The Fairweather Financial pregame show is coming up next.